Firing an employee, breaking up with your boyfriend, asking for a raise. These are all difficult discussions that we have to have. But during the pandemic, we're all struggling with a new tough talk, the vaccination status conversation. And it's not easy.
Yeah.
Dr. Judy is still with us. Why is this such a tough conversation?
Well, this is a tough conversation, Dr. Order and Dr. Nita, because there's bigger implications. It's not just about your vaccine status or your COVID protocol. It's actually about character and personality traits. You know, are you a selfish person? Are you somebody who cares about those around you? I think that those are the implications that are coming up, like it or not. And people are reevaluating their friendships, their relationships. They don't know if they can trust somebody. I've had people say, I've had friendships for 20, 30 years that I think I'm going to cut off right now.
So we need some vaccine etiquette, some vaccine conversation etiquette. Let's talk about that. Let's start with work. What do we need to know about asking about vaccination status at work?
Well, people are usually uncomfortable with having more personal conversations at work, but this isn't really personal anymore. This is for the health of the entire work environment. So I want people to start changing their minds about that you have to advocate for yourself and you need to ask people these questions and have these conversations more regularly. Sometimes people are worried that they might be violating privacy regulations under HIPAA, but you're not their doctor. You're just having this conversation with them because of necessity. You want to know how to protect yourself and other people that you're working with. Try not to get emotional. I think it's really hard not to because everything feels so personal. So leave the personal piece out of it. Talk about the purpose for why you're asking about their vaccine status or their COVID protocol. It's because I live with immunocompromised people. It's because I have a reason why I have to wait to get my vaccine and it's going to take a few weeks. You know, talk about the actual reasons openly and don't be afraid to have that conversation assertive.
You know, Judy, unfortunately, this COVID-19, the wearing of masks, vaccination, it's all become so politicized. So such a difficult situation. So you started off in the office. Let's shift to social circles. So what's your advice here in a really difficult situation?
I have some personal experience about this where I've explained my COVID protocol to my friends and they say, well, I don't want to follow that protocol. And really then my answer is, okay, then we can't meet. And I think we have to be willing to have those conversations and also be willing to understand that your friends may not like what you have to say, and you have to be able to sit with that discomfort. I know that it's hard for people because they don't want to be in conflict with people that they care about, but try not to act from a position of judgment. This is not about judging them, but it's really about keeping yourself safe and feeling comfortable. And that's why it's so important to have that conversation before you see them, right? So sometimes people wait until the person's already shown up and they're like, wait, why didn't you bring a mask? Or wait a minute, now you're telling me that you're not vaccinated. Have the conversation before. If you have difficulties talking assertively, I would suggest you jot down the major points you have to say and say them. Tell them on the phone, this is what I expect when you come to my house. And if you're not okay with it, we can always postpone getting together. Let's not be afraid to have those boundaries, even with the people that we love, and especially with the people that we love.
Let's talk about family, because this is really hard. It's one thing not to see your friend who comes into town or to stay away from certain people at work. But when it comes to family members, how do you talk to them about vaccination status and navigate the whole situation?
Family members are especially tough because there's an additional thing that comes with dealing with family members is that some of them feel entitled to have access to you. They feel entitled to have certain events the way that they want to have them. And you have to respect the more conservative person in that formula. So you might not like it, but if somebody else has a more conservative COVID protocol, either you're going to have to live by those rules or you can't have that get together. And that is the thing that I think everybody needs to remember is that right now we all have to respect the person who has the more conservative protocol. And that's the person that's going to drive the boundaries for any get-togethers or events you're going to have.
It's like what Aretha Franklin said, RESPCT, just be respectful.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't agree more. Dr. Judy, as always, great tips. Thanks for joining us today.